Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree?
Hello, family. This is Ellen the Marvelous, the movie Gangstar. Welcome to the second part of From TV Show Review Breakdown Final Judgment. And as you know, in this review collection, I'm going to declare all facts and clues on From TV Show Season 3 ending based on everything we saw during all these 3 seasons. In the first part, I mentioned on the boy invite and all Fromlanders who could see him, hear him, and connect him in every shape and form. I focused on Victor and his dirty little lies to show you after all what happened in disguise, that we saw the boy invite has aged. And now, in this part of review, I'm going to mention on others who could see the boy invite, and especially I'm going to focus on Sara and discuss on who she is connecting to during her mind attacks. I will discuss more on Angkuiee Children and more. But first, please press the like button if you're enjoying my reviews, and share it with your friends and within your community. Subscribe to my channel to support my channel, and push the notification bell to see all of my videos, reviews and breakdowns as I uploaded them. As this discussion got long, I have to break it into several parts to avoid long videos. You can watch them all in order to find all conclusions about secrets and hidden meanings through From TV Show. And I'm sure after watching all these parts, you will be satisfied on all answers you got from these reviews. Okay, let's begin. Okay, let's begin with Angkuiee Children first. During the show, we never saw Victor connecting to these mysterious Angkuiee Children. But it seems he knows about them more, as it seems Victor knows about Angkuiee Children, but he never saw them in real. And it seems here only Tabitha and Jade has seen and heard those creepy children. But there is something different about Sara. Sara may saw the boy invite just one time, but she has heard his voice only by a mind connection to him. Sara could hear some voices in her head who were leading her to do some horrible things, as we saw they attacked to her mind as they were sending her a message by scratching her hand, making her to kill Ethan, manipulating her mind to kill the boy. But who are these voices Sara hears of? Once after she collapsed by the bottle tree, she told Boyd about what she heard by the bottle tree from Abby, Boyd's wife. As it seems, Sara can hear too many voices. But as it was the boy invite who asked Christopher to kill the boy, I bet this is the boy invite who encouraged Sara to kill the boy. And it was the boy invite who Sara could hear his voice in her mind. For a while, we see her has no mind attacks, but in Season 3 Episode 8, we could see her as she fixes her broken snowman. Again, there is a mind invasion and mind attack, and next time, as we see her at the Boyd's office talking to Boyd and Ellis about Fatima, we see she mentions on them been laughing. It seems they are playing with them to Sara's mind. Next time, when Boyd tells others on those voices Sara hears of, he mentions of them laughing again. Who could those voices were who were informing them about what was about to happen to Fatima as they were laughing at them? After all this happened through in From TV Show, that those voices who informed Sara about Fatima's hidden place were those Angkuiee Children. Here I want to show you some proof about that. In Season 3 Episode 9, we see Julie and Tabitha by Victor's harbor talking to each other. And Julie was talking to Tabitha about what happened to her when she fainted by those ruins. And as she mentioned on those Angkuiee Children, all of a sudden Tabitha saw one of those Angkuiee Children smiling her and waving her hand, asking them to follow her. Tabitha and Julie was walking after her, and they arrived to the root cellar. In a scene, we see Fatima entangling with Kimono Lady. She puts her hands on Fatima's mouth to keep her quiet. Tabitha and Julie enter into the root cellar, they see Victor is already there, standing in a corner, blaming on himself for her mother's death. Here, it's obvious Victor is playing victim, and Tabitha hugs him with her motherly love and compassion. And at that very exact moment, they both share their emotional experiences together, and it happens that we see Tabitha could read Victor's feelings and memories through this emotional exchange. Tabitha could feel him in that exact same place at that exact time when he was thinking over and over again about the moment he met his mom for the last time. She could feel Victor, and this is Victor's imagining and thoughts which transferring to Tabitha. Based on a karmic cycle structure, always there is a person who comes back alive, an innocent, kind person who has a mission to accomplish, who has passed the test and who has completed the quest, who is a winner or maybe a chosen one. An innocent one who has been a victim of an unfair sacrifice will be activated as a truth detective. Here and in this case, as Tabitha sacrifices herself not only to save those children at the lighthouse, but to free all people from this toxicity Fromland, she had to come back to Fromland again, this time bring Henry, Victor's father, to cause a trigger warning on him and making him to face with his own lies, deceit, fears and falsehood. And as Tabitha enters back to Fromland with Victor's father Henry, Tabitha's role will be as a whistleblower in this whole situation. In reality, Tabitha has passed the test and completed the quest. Let's get back to the scene to show you the proof about Angkuiee Children as those voices who connected to Sara's thought through those mind attacks to inform her about Fatima. Kimono Lady has her hands over Fatima's mouth, and by this way Tabitha, Victor and Julie never could hear of Fatima's screaming in the other room, as the Kimono Lady was trying to keep her mouth closed. And as Tabitha felt Victor's arm and saw all those memories of Victor in her mind, she screamed the hell out of her and exited the root cellar, as she still had visions on how Miranda got sacrificed by the bottle tree by a smiling monster. Through deja vus, we see Smiling Monster attacking Miranda as he is running to her. And the very odd fact of this scene is here that we never saw those monsters in haste or running, and we saw them all in quiet and moving slowly. It was really odd and exactly very different with something we saw and knew from monsters. Referring to Season 2 Episode 5, to the scene where we see Tabitha and Victor together at the car's graveyard, and as they open the back trunk of Victor's mother's car, we see Victor crashing down, nailed into tears, and as he remembers of his sister Eloise, who he left behind, we see another version of his memory, and this time there is a young girl standing by him. We see Miranda asks Victor to watch after her sister, and this time as we are looking to another version of Victor's memories, we see how Victor cowardly stays in the root cellar all night long and never goes after his sister Eloise to save her and look after her. And after all, in Season 3, we find that he not only causes the death of his mother and sister, but the whole town. I bet in Season 4, we will discover more on Victor's lies and dirty little secrets. Who knows what lies beneath that graves Victor presented as Miranda and Eloise graves to his father. I still think Eloise is still alive, and she is the only one who can help break this generational curse and cycle in Fromland. Sometimes it's all about pride and ego, and childhood wounds always cause an ego strengthen, and it's all because of fears and weaknesses. I believe in From TV show, this is Victor who has to face with his own shadows and falsehood, and he is the main character who is projecting all these false narrations around, and by manipulating the whole situation based on his past experiences and old fears and beliefs. And what is the connection between Sara and Victor which makes him to go after Sara to share his past memories and experiences with her? And why he opens that hidden suitcase as the Pandora's box at the presence of her? What does he know about Sara which makes him to call her the most dangerous person in Fromland? As we know and we see in Season 3 finale, Sara tortures Elgin. She cuts Elgin's eye out in cold blood. It's obvious now how her soul is shattered and surrounded by the darkness. Have you ever paid attention on how Sara dresses very different with the others? I believe Sara's clothing is a very old-fashioned and Sara has arrived to the Fromland from another timeline, or maybe she was here in this Fromland before the others arrived. Let's get back to season 2 for some proof on Sara to be a heavy psychic who could control everything happened in Fromland. In season 2 episode 5, as Sara came back to the town, she went to her old house to take his brother's stuff and shirt. But new residents pushed her out of the house and insulted her, and she looked into them with anger. And exactly after that, we hear of cicadas attack at that exact house and murdered the woman from inside. Now cicadas have attacked to the town and attacking everyone in their dreams. Sara has sat in sheriff station in front of angry Kenny and is talking about his brother Nathan, who always was scared of cicadas, and she mentioned on how Fromland is filled with fears of those who have passed away, as she believed the cicadas has came from Nathan's fears. It seems this was Sara or maybe Ethan's spirit who went for revenge to that partner who was living in their old house. This is obvious as we see Sara talking to Kenny about how much she is ashamed of what she has done and is looking for an opportunity to do good things to help others and fill this blank hole inside of her. She has manifested those cicadas attack by her envious mind, and her first victims were exactly the same couple who insulted her and threw her out of the house. That scene and those dialogues between Sara and Kenny reminds me of that scene in season 1 episode 7 before Fatima's anniversary when Kevin meets Jasmine by the window and Jasmine is playing victim to convince Kevin open the window, lets her inside to do the rape. And if you remember, all acts Jasmine commits in that massacre scene is exactly the same with what Sara did to Toby in the pilot episode in the clinic. And when she done her dirty job, she lets the door open for monsters to enter, and by this way and this act, she puts Kenny's father's life in danger and causes his death. In season 1 episode 7 also we see when Jasmine did the work, cleans herself up in front of a mirror and opened the window for other monsters to come as she was leaving the room. I believe Victor and Sara would have some abilities in making connections to evil spirits which have been manifested through their lies and shadows. And just Victor goes to Sara and takes her to the basement to create a fortress, opens the suitcase or that Pandora's box too, and he calls Sara as the most dangerous person in town just because they are match pair and mirroring each other into others, and we can call them both partner in crime. As Sara seeks revenge and manifests those cicadas attack to punish that couple, we see how this goes deep and causes trouble for all Fromland residents. In season 3, this is Victor who has become jealous of Ethan and his family, manifests that dumb plot as we saw Angkuiee Children arrive to the bottle tree, and as Jade was playing violin, and both Tabitha and Jade thought they were been here before to save their own child over and over again in a different lifetime. And Tabitha leaves Jim behind straight to Jade, both in illusion. Just look at this Angkuiee child's face. In the first look, it seems she's satisfied, but if you deep look into her smile, it's mischievous. At the end and at that famous man in yellow scene, as he enters the scene, he faces Jim and the first words came out of his mouth is about Jade who could play the song. And it seems he tries to make Jim jealous and angry. In fact, it was Jim who discovered the rules of those numbers and translated them into music notes. As you all could feel, the man in yellow seemed familiar to I, and he was angry and jealous about Jim and was trying to mirror, and it was all because of that moment of envy and jealousy Jim felt towards Jade, and everything happened between them. And don't forget, When that fight happened between Jim and Jade at the bar, there was a third party presented there, Henry, a broken old man who had found his early days in Jim wrongly. As we saw, he was found Victor in Jade again wrongly. He was obsessed with misunderstandings, and it was not because of everything he had been through during all these years, but ignorance was initiated inside him. Tabitha and Jim had a younger son named Thomas, who was dead by causing an accidental event, and his early death was the main thing who Tabitha and Jim couldn't handle. They were fighting each other all the time and blaming each other on his death. There was no trust between them, and this lack of empathy and trust is the only reason for their continuous fights for nothing, which only caused pain for Julie and Ethan indeed. Overall, there is no trust between all people and residences in Fromland, and just because of that, they are living into separated groups at the colony house by Donna's lead and the other group at the town by leading boy, Mr. Fish and Love, who is always trying to save everyone and fixes everything which is impossible. How someone can save someone else when he needs to be awakened and saved himself? They all are abusing each other for their own benefit and to save face. And this chaos in general all has been caused by their own fears and shadows. At the end of season finale, a very dramatic violin covers the scene and connects both events from Jade and Tabitha and Jim by the bottle tree to the root cellar where Fatima was captured by Kimono entity. And after all, Boyd, who is watching Smiley's resurrection from his own family race and blood. As it seems, this is him who has manifested this dark shadow monster from within himself.
Sometimes I remember what it was like when it wasn't like this. It was like before.
As it seems, nothing is on its own place. The man in yellow seems to be Randall, and he has the same shirt with Randall too. But why he seems to us as Randall? We saw Jim had problems with Randall and got jealous on him as he heard Randall was teaching driving lessons to her daughter Julie. He had a previous obsession on Jade and he felt weak by him. And now Randall in his old age as his another rival to beat him in second and make the last call. All we saw in that scene was about Jim because jealous and desperate, and only because of that we saw him become a sacrifice of a man in yellow. After all, in Fromland, they all have been tricked by their own doubts and ignorance and got played by all those creepy Angkuiee children and also the boy in white. Don't forget that those Angkuiee children also are wearing white, just they seem to be hurt and a little dirty and dusty. Maybe as a symbol of all types of unhealed childhood wounds versus the clean boy in white who seems to be in charge in this Fromland. The boy in white seems to be the symbol of truth and their illusion as a healed person, and all those Angkuiee children may be a symbol of 7 deadly sins as old unhealed childhood wounds needed to be healed. And if I want to use tarot cards to break this scene and Angkuiee children down, I'm going to choose the 7 of Cups tarot card, which is all about options and confusions, and claim on these Angkuiee children to be 7 cups in this tarot card. And as cups are all about emotions and feelings, we can count on them as a mirage came from our inner doubts and fears from wounded childhood emotions. I want to say that these Angkuiee children here work as trickster spirits and illusions. They are mesmerizing. Angkuiee, as a siren, allow you to believe your most fears and imaginations. Sara said they were laughing. They are playing with them. They are tricksters. I think in season 4, they all really need to face with their own shadows and dirty little secrets and get healed to be able to leave this stuck Fromland. In one of my review breakdowns on the pilot episode and also in my very first review breakdown on From TV show, I have discussed fully on the matter of dirty little secrets as well. I think after all these explanations and these reviews, everything must be more clear of what happened in Season 3 finale, and I hope it gave you a horizon on these 3 seasons to predict what may come this way in Season 4. Don't forget that there are too many other possibilities to change the story narration into another direction. Everything I mentioned in these reviews is based on my own analysis as a director and a screenwriter who always dives deeper than the other critics. I am not insisting on none of them, and they are only my second guesses which seem to be more logical to the story narration. Let me know what do you think and post your ideas on the comment section below. I will make more reviews on From TV show to dive deeper into all characters and their background stories and secrets. Please press the like button if you enjoyed this review, subscribe to my channel for more reviews and breakdowns on movies and TV shows, and don't forget to push the notification bell to be informed of all of my videos, reviews and breakdowns as I uploaded them. And please share the video through your friends and communities and support my channel, which means a lot to me. This is Ellen the Marvelous, the movie gangster, and I see you in my next review. For now, love and light in peace.